Goonies. I need to show Caleb Goonies.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, I gotta show him Goonies. We watched, what was that old movie from the 80s where those ladies were really, well, was it called The Witches?
It might be. There is a movie called The Witches.
I think we watched that. We watched the original and then we watched the new one.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the original's better, but whatever. You know.
They're budget, but they're great. Has he watched Princess Bride yet?
I don't think so. I don't think
gotta
so.
Do that.
But I mean,
just show him Rats of a Usual Size.
Hey, I did my part. He watched the original Ghostbusters.
Okay, fine. Jesus would approve.
Hey, we're here. We're back.
We're back, and Naomi is trying to overload me with more work again.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
Honestly, it's really a me problem and not a you problem. I just have like zero bandwidth, and every time she has an idea, I'm like, what? You want to do what?
I just thought about it, but it's fine because we're going to do a whole separate episode about it, and that will be fun. So, yay. All right.
Yay.
Why are we here today? Because we're finally getting around to doing an episode about our favorite books of 2021. And to be clear, that means books that we read in 2021, not just books that were released in 2021. You know, we're backlist bitches. So
we are backlist.
A lot of these are going to be backlist. Yes, I need it on a shirt. So here we are with our favorites.
Check out our merch.
Check out the merch. Check out the merch. So let's start with what we've recently finished or are currently reading.
I think I went first last time, so it's your turn.
All right, let me tell you about this arc. So I'm reading this arc, Cherish Farah, a novel by Bethany C. Morrow.
You're ready to talk about this? Okay.
Well,
she teased me a little earlier being like, I have thoughts, but I'm going to wait.
I was going to wait until I'm at the end. I'm only on page 125, but so this is a story about two black girls. They're both fairly wealthy. One of the girls' families gets into some money trouble and ends up losing their home, and they have to move away, and she somehow convinced her parents to let her stay with her friend, the wealthy one, a black girl who's adopted by two white parents, and she somehow convinced them that this is the best thing for her. And here's what's weird about this book to me.
I kind of like watching you struggle right now. I don't know why.
Because I don't know what's happening. So the first problem I have with it is the way it's written. So in the beginning, it feels like the author is trying so hard to convince me, the reader, that there's something ominous going on with Farah and that she's got something going on that we don't know about that will be revealed later. Like, that feels like really pressed upon me, but not in a good way. And the way it's written in these parts makes me think of one of those books I hate, the Shatter Me series. Okay? So
that's such an insult. Oh.
So that's number one. And then number two, the way that this girl is being painted, like she has so much control over things, her parents, I just don't know what the hell's happening. I don't know what we're trying to get at here. And the way that the girl is talking about her friend, like she's so dumb, like she just can't comprehend much of anything, like she's literally like intellectually like, you know, missing something. I'm just very confused as to where we're going. But this is where I am at page 125. We'll see how it goes at the end. But as of right now, I don't like how it's written. I don't know. I don't like it right now.
I don't know if I'm particularly sold on her as an author. That's Bethany C. Morrow, right?
Correct.
So she did The Song Below Water, which I actually liked because I thought it was very allegorical and weird and magical realism. And not everybody likes magical realism. I feel like if you're going to do magical realism, there's a unique group of people that are fine with it. And then a lot of other people are like, I need you to not be fantasy or be fantasy. I can't have you straddle, right?
Right.
But then she did that remix that I read of Little Women.
Oh, yes.
Which was fine. Like, it was fine. Like, I have nothing to say about it. And I guess this is now a thriller, and it's just like, where is her sweet spot?
Oh, is that what this is?
I don't.
Is this a thriller?
It, it sounds like what you're telling me is this is a thriller or gothic horror or something. Isn't that what you were saying to me?
I mean, I don't know what I'm saying to
I don't
you.
know what they're marketing it as.
All
but
I'm saying is
what
I don't know
you're
what's
saying,
happening.
What you're saying makes it sound like it's a thriller. What's it called again?
Cherish Farah.
That's Planily. That's not Goodreads. Cherish Farah. Hold on. I was gonna type, but
I'm curious enough because I want to go to the end because I want to see what the big deal is. I want to see what this author is trying to convey to me towards the end.
It's an adult social thriller.
This is adult?
In the vein of Get Out meets My Sister the Serial Killer.
I'm gonna need y'all to stop doing that as well.
I can hear Jess Owens screaming, "Why is everything Get Out?"
I don't know.
I can hear it. Jess, if you're listening, I've internalized your exhaustion over everything being Get Out.
I just hate when they do that. You know me. I hate when it's it's this meets that.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it. But so this is adult.
Apparently. Allegedly. Yeah, it's supposed to be a horror thriller, but it also says a young adult. Wait, I'm so confused. Hold on.
The two main characters are in high school. They're 17.
Oh, new adult, not like new.
Oh.
Adult, capital A, like capital N, capital A, adult. Like,
oh.
I got it now. I'm here.
Well.
Can we call it something else, not new adult? Because now that I've read this sentence, I've just realized how problematic that can be.
Yeah. So that's where I am with that. That's what I'm currently reading. We'll see how it goes. I will.
Keep me posted.
I will. So
yeah, I'm just not quite sure. There's that's 3 very different books, and not that writers can't write different genres.
It's fine if you do it well.
But where's her sweet spot? Like, because it feels like she's throwing things at a wall.
Right.
I almost said throwing pasta at a wall.
Right.
She's throwing linguine at the wall and seeing what sticks.
We'll see.
So I finished finally. I bought this last year. I feel like I bought this a while ago, and I haven't read it yet. And I read it the other day.
Yes,
I finally finished my first Junji Ito, and this is a collection of short mangas. And this is Venus in the Blind Spot.
Yes, it's beautiful.
Just stunningly gorgeous. Let me show you the inside of this jacket for everybody watching the video. You can see the inside of the jacket, but look how beautiful that is.
Yeah, you've had that for a while. That is gorgeous.
I have, and it's taking me a while to actually just sit down and read it. And I will say that I hadn't read a manga in a really long time, so my first couple of pages, I was reading it all out of order, a little weirdo. So it took me a second for my brain to be no, you read this way, Alyssa. That's how manga works. But yeah, it was. I really enjoyed them. They're kind of creepy. I mean, the first story starts out like this.
Oh.
Those are people sewn together.
Okay.
So this was just my light morning reading the other day over my coffee.
People sewn together because that's normal.
Because it's normal to just read that over your coffee. But I mean, they're interesting. They're all different stories. I really enjoyed it. It's beautiful. It was quick, obviously, because it's a manga. It's gorgeous.
It really is.
And I ordered 2 more from him. When I was done, I ordered. I didn't order Tome because that one was expensive, but I ordered.
Oh, that's one people really like.
It was expensive. And I'll get there, but let me pull up my order here. I ordered the other 2 that everybody read, and that's Gaia, which I think comes tomorrow, and Uzumaki. I ordered those 2. Yeah, I ordered those 2 when I was done, because I was yep, I'm on board. I'm here for it. So I will get to Tomy eventually. But
okay.
That one is expensive, and I need to not buy all the books because I've also been buying books for our 12 Women, 12 Countries. So
yes,
I've been a little bad lately. So yeah, that's what I've been reading. That's what I just finished.
I love it. I love it. All right, well, You
I'm
know,
just in a little Japanese moment, all right? I may have Japanese on my Duolingo at the moment.
I love that for you. I really do. I am excited to talk about our favorite reads of last year.
Me too. Let me get my iPad
I
out
really feel like each reading year for me gets better and better. And I was mentioning this when I was commenting on a post on Shelby in the bookstore's IG page, and I was saying that I think it is because that I'm really paying attention to what I like, and I'm
Yes.
leaning more into that,
Yes.
and
I think
having a more enjoyable reading experience year after year because of that.
before I got on Bookstagram, I just kind of read whatever came across my plate. I really wasn't plugged in. Then I plugged in, and I feel like for a year and a half, I just kind of read a whole bunch of stuff that was popular or that I saw a lot or, whatever. And I wasn't unsatisfied, but I wasn't terribly satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And then sometime in the middle of this year, I started to click what I am really enjoying
Yeah,
this past year. And I've just been it's been very different, and I'm enjoying it.
a lot more.
Like, so excited about all these translated works.
Yes.
So excited for January in Japan. Like,
Who knew that was a thing?
I didn't know it
Who
was a thing,
knew?
and I didn't know that I love Japanese literature so much
Yeah, we discovered that last year.
this year. Yeah, thank you for whoever started Women in Translation Month because
Exactly.
that kicked that off. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So I don't know. It's really exciting. I know that when I stumbled upon Bookstagram in 2019, I was just like seeing a lot of various titles and trying them out. And I had an okay reading year for 2019, but 2020 was a really good year, and then 2021 was even better. So
there's something freeing about being like, screw this shit. I'm an old brat. I'm gonna read whatever I want.
yeah, I mean, I guess like there's normal. I go to Barnes and Noble readers, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
there's readers like us that are a little bit more plugged in with like a lot more publishers, just knowing that they exist, knowing who they
Mm-hmm.
are, knowing where to search and seek out books. And I think that when you are able to do that, you can also find more of what you want.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I
Yes.
just
Sorry, I apologize for the yawning. It's been a long day. Everybody ignore me.
I don't think that if you're just going to Barnes and Noble, you're really limited in
You
what
are.
what you find.
Yeah. So it does kind of narrow you down, and I definitely, as a reader now, as opposed to 5 or 6 years ago, I'm definitely loving reading so much more
Yeah,
because I know what I like,
exactly.
and I know what I'm willing to take a chance on because I
For
might like it.
sure. For sure.
So, and those are two huge things. Like, my fantasy is crazy. And, like, I always liked fantasy, but I didn't read a lot of it
Yeah.
for some reason. I just didn't. And
Yeah.
now it's like, give me all of it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Anyway, so
yeah,
this is
it's
like,
kind of nice.
learning ourselves as readers, and it feels really good.
And
So
we just have to accept that we're backlist
that's it.
bitches.
I mean, I love it. I love it. I mean, look, we love new releases too. But
And we have a
hell,
decent amount of new releases
yeah.
on my list. So,
Well, and we get a lot from publishers, but
yeah.
just in general, I think I lean, and I think you lean towards backlist too, just in general.
Hmm.
So here we are. All right, let's go with our list.
Yes. You want to go first? We have 15 of these for you. We've
Yes,
limited ourselves
yes. If you want to see my
in
full list,
no
just go to
particular
my
order.
Book Lady Reads page. I've got my full list there. Shall we just do the one that we're both going to pick anyway?
Yes,
Let's do
it.
that.
Dun dun dun. What do you think it is? Guesses now. All right, go Naomi.
The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. If you listen to this podcast at,
Any point.
any point, if you listen to more than 3 episodes, then you know that we have a deep love for the prophets. So of course that's on the
Yes.
list. And if you haven't
Yes.
read it, I don't know what
Read
you're
it.
waiting for. Read the
Read
dang
it.
book, The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. All right.
And trust the process. This book is going to move through all different characters, all different narratives, different points in time and
Yeah.
place, and it is going to take you on a fantastic, moving journey that it is so good. There is so much to break down. There's so much to talk about in here. Like, pick it for your book club for
Oh,
people that are really
yes.
going to read it and want to dissect it, because there is so much to discuss.
Yeah.
There he does there is no white savior in this whole book. This is a book about as close to, I think, as you can get to like a reality situation
Mm-hmm. I would
that has
agree.
come out in recent years. So I mean, it is a new classic.
Yes.
Read
Yes.
it.
Yes. Okay.
And so then what's one we're not both gonna pick?
Probably Black Buck by Matteo Ascaripour. I feel like that's not how you say his name. I'm sorry. Black Buck. Okay?
That's because I haven't read it yet.
Exactly.
But it's right down there.
Yes, Black Buck. I read it earlier this year, and it was unputdownable, and it was very fun, and it was very eye-opening, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Every minute of it. If you've read it, let me know what you think about Clyde.
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 I guess we'll go with something that is terribly obvious and right here. Not as beautiful world, where are you? I think this is to date Sally Rooney's best book that she has written. I want to know how much of this is uh, autobiographical.
Mm.
This is the pieces. So basically, every other chapter is from there's two friends, and their names are Alice and Eileen. And Alice and Eileen have each chapter is like they're one of the other one's point of view. My brain's not working. But then in between those chapters are these emails between each of them,
Mm-hmm.
and these letters between them. And in those letters, Sally Rooney goes into so many different topics, from like capitalism to what does it mean to be an artist to romance to everything. Like,
Mm.
there's so much just exposition on different big topics. Read it. It's so good. I loved it. She made me cry again. Love it. I'm a hoe for Sally Rooney.
I love it.
I also can't get it back on the shelf one-handed.
It's fine. So my next book is Another Country by James Baldwin, and this was an amazing story. It is a novel of passions, sexual, racial, political, artistic, emotional intensity. It's all of the things. This was a
All the things.
very, very good read, full of so much emotion. I really enjoyed it. This was my third book by James Baldwin. I'd actually like to revisit this one at some point in my life. It was that good.
I need to get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna pop my
Going to
Baldwin.
get there in February.
We are. We're gonna read Giovanni's Room in February. Join
That's
us.
right.
I have so many things that I've talked about so many times, so you guys can probably make a drinking game out of this. But I'm gonna pick A Little Life. For me, favorite books when I come down to the end of the year, books I can't stop thinking about,
Mm-hmm.
and A Little Life 100% fits on that list. And I'm so excited because on Tuesday, as of recording this, in 2 days, my copy of her new book comes and arrives.
I pre-ordered it too.
Hands. And I'm so excited to start that. So, and the name, I'm blanking on the name because my brain is just absolutely fried by paint fumes. So, what's it called, Naomi?
Hanya Yanahagar.
Oh, I can't say her name, but what's the book called?
Oh, wait, the new one or the To Paradise?
The new one.
To Paradise?
Yeah, yes. Thank you. I was like, it's 2 words, and my fried brain can't think of it. Yeah, so I'm really excited about that one. I'm really excited about it because that one has 3 different timelines.
Yeah,
and I love that. I love books like that.
I'm looking forward to reading it. I pre-ordered it, so I'm ready. Yeah, I like her as a writer, and we still need to read her other book, People in Trees. So
that one I
some point
remember.
this year. Some point this year, but I'm excited to read To Paradise. So yeah. All right, my next book on the list, you all should know this, is Breast and Eggs by Miyako Kamakami.
That's another double up.
Yeah. Okay. So both of us. We've talked about this book. This was a TBR Lowdown pick as well. And I just think this is an author who is just one to watch. I have pre-ordered her upcoming book, All the Lovers in the Night. I read her book, Heaven. I'll be
I'm
reading
reading it this
her.
month.
Please do. I'll be reading
Mhm.
her novella, Miss Ice Sandwich, this month as well. But she excites me. I
There's something
just,
about her writing that's just very relatable, I want to say.
it
Like you
is
just
relatable. It's
it's just easy to connect with. It really
yeah,
is.
yeah. She just really excites me. I really adore this author. So breast
Yeah.
and eggs.
I'm with you on that one. Yep, yep, yep. This is gonna get really interesting because we're gonna go through this quickly. If we keep saying ones we both have, I'm gonna try to see if I can pick off one you have on there. The Master and Margarita.
Boom. It is. Yes.
So this was another TBR Lowdown pick that we had this year. It is a freaking acid trip of a book
Oh my
and
God.
is amazing. Like you are reading this book and people's like heads are exploding and like money is flying and changing and people are losing their minds
Cats
and
talk like
cats are
people. They're walking
talking and
around.
smoking cigarettes and drinking booze and playing cards and it is and all the while it is a commentary on Soviet Russia,
Religion,
on
greed.
religion, all
It's
kinds of things.
it's one of the best
So
books I have ever read in my life. I
it is
love
amazing.
that book.
It is so good.
It really
It is so
is.
good. Did you buy yourself the Folio Society version? Because I was going to get it, but you kept saying, I'm going to buy it for
I
myself
am
for my
gonna
birthday.
I'm
I'm
gonna
going to
buy
buy it for
it.
myself for my
I'm
birthday.
gonna
So I
buy
didn't
it
get
for
it for
myself.
you.
I'm going to get it this month, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because I need it.
So I got you something else, but I was
Yes.
like,
Yes.
before she has two of them.
I know, like we did you with Rebecca. Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. Do you know how many copies of Rebecca I have?
Probably 20.
They're all no. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 so far.
She'll get the 20, folks. Also,
There is one I want. There's a white one that's like
oh,
that's got the embroidered pillowcase on it. I want that one.
oh. Also, the Master Margarita was one of our book club picks for TBR Lowdown.
Yes, it
So
was.
if you don't know, it's
Read with
translated from
us.
Russian. If you don't know that, it's translated from Russian, and you should really read it. It's such
Read with
a
us.
great book.
Pick a variety of books. Actually, I have a lot of things that were on our stuff here. A few.
Yeah.
All right, what you got?
I actually should have kept going after Breast and Eggs because I also put Heaven on here by Miyako Kawakami. If you haven't read Heaven, it is a bullying story, and I thought it was so well done. Some of these passages in this book were just like so gripping, but also like, ooh, like grab you in the gut. You know what I mean? And this is a shorter book. It's a novella, but it was fantastic.
I shall share all of my thoughts when I read it this month.
Yes. I thought that was really well done. So that's Heaven by Miyako
So is it
Kawakami.
me?
Mm-hmm.
Is it me? I don't know if you would think of this one, but I picked Burnt Sugar by what is her name? Like Ani
Abi,
Doshi?
something like that. That was a good book.
That book, because like you know what part I keep thinking about when she talks about her name is Avni Doshi, Avni Doshi. When she talks about how her lady parts don't have a smell, I think about that part. I don't know why, but I just think about that all the time.
Right.
I'm like, in what world? Like none? Like,
right.
like
right.
not any?
Right.
Like COVID knows? Like and there's obviously a lot more to the book than just her lack of smelling vagina.
Much more to that book.
It is a crazy book and definitely worth a read.
Yeah.
And do it with somebody else so you can talk about it.
Yes, because I had to get her on board with it. I was like, oh, she's got to read this book. She has to read this book. Yeah.
Yeah, it won something, right? It was
I can't remember if it won.
Booker
I know
Prize
it was longlisted. I
nominee.
can't remember if it won, but it was longlisted, and I think shortlisted for the Booker. I believe.
All right.
Anyway.
Shortlisted for the Booker. Yeah, in 2022.
Yeah.
In 2020, sorry. This is 2022, Alyssa.
Yeah. Read that, folks. Burnt Sugar. Funny enough, that book did not resonate with a lot of people. I saw a lot of people like, this book was just too weird, or like, I just didn't get it.
So
you know,
but I
liked it.
But like when it starts revealing a lot of the things between, well, first of all, her and her mother's relationship, I could relate to in the sense that like, it's much easier for me to relate to a relationship where there's tension between the mother and daughter than there is when they're like best friends. Yeah. I have a harder time relating to that. But the mother is just so mad. Like there's, and then her dad. Like it's if you like messy families,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Am I next?
You are, I
Okay.
guess.
I also have on here Detransition Baby by Tori Peters.
So do I.
Booyah.
This is why we're friends.
Look, I know most of the time when I read a book, if you're gonna like it, I'm like, she's got to read this. This is up her alley. This is right up her alley. I knew you would love this.
I just loved all the things it's exploring. Like, I loved it exploring the one character who detransitions. I love that it explores what makes a family unit. I liked that it kind of went deep and kind of felt like it kind of pulled back the curtain on what it really is like to think, feel, and be a trans person. There was lingo I had never heard. Like, I mean, it just felt like such a real and raw story. And
and I love
it
a
wasn't
non-traditional family, and I love when you create your own type of family. Also, we don't hear many stories that are centered around someone detransitioning.
Yes.
So that was all very interesting, and I do think it was written very well. It
was written very,
really
very well.
Psyched to see what Tori Peters does next.
Yeah, so. And I am a little mad that it hasn't gotten like more popular.
I know,
acclaim. But I guess
it
is
really good.
So do you remember when Eric Carl Anderson was talking about, it may have been the Booker Prize, is that the one Shuggie Bain won? Yeah. So, and he was talking about how it came out in some article that one of the judges had mentioned that they picked Shuggie Bain over a different book because Shuggie Bain was like an acceptable amount of
like
gay.
It was gay, but not too gay.
Not too gay.
And I was like,
so like, I wonder... But I wonder if detransition kind of falls in that same kind of stigmatization where it's like too queer for to get that popular acclaim. And I don't think it's too queer, but like, is it the kind of thing?
You know what makes you wonder, right? After hearing that statement
when you have
about
that
Shuggie
question,
Bain,
you're like, does it go into that kind of? And I haven't read Shuggie Bain yet, but it's down there. I know you didn't like it, but I will see if I like it. But yeah, I wonder if because it's dealing so realistically and rawly with trans existence, trans people, does that then put it in some sort of outlier category where it's
I don't know. I wonder.
Like, we're gonna recognize it, but we're not gonna like. It's not gonna get like the big acclaim.
We're not gonna really let you have it. You know. Yeah.
But you can't take away the fact that it's a fucking banging book and
exactly.
It's good, and you should read it. So
thank you, Emma, for sending me a copy for my birthday. Thank you.
I still don't have one. I will find one of these days.
It's on the list, so if I run across it, I'll get it for you.
So I guess it's me, because we just keep saying ones. I'm going to see if I can hit one you have. Empire of Pain?
I did not put it on here.
Ooh, okay. So Empire of Pain was another one of our TBR
But it was
Lowdown
fantastic.
Picks. It's fantastic. Nonfiction about the Sackler family. And the case is still unfolding today.
Yes.
And their input... their impact on the opioid crisis and everything that we are dealing with in that arena. We have lots of things we're dealing with, lots of crises. The world is on fire.
Literally burning.
But yeah, love it. Read it. Put it down at times because you're going to scream, but read it. So.
Yeah. All right. My next book is The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett. Y'all,
Jesus could only hear you now.
This book, Jess and I buddy read it together, and we were just so tripped out by how juicy and good this book was. Like, listen, this book is centered around building a goddamn cathedral. But these monks were messy and mean and just... they were a trip. There was so much going on with the story that we had no idea we were going to get. I'm telling y'all, this was actually a page turner. And we cannot wait.
Which is good because it's like 1,000 pages.
Yeah, it was. It was like 1,000 pages. And it was so good. And we're going to be reading book 2 in the coming months. So we're excited because this is a trilogy. So
I'm thinking about taking something off. But I don't know what to take off. So I'm just going to start with 5 Days at Memorial, which I've talked about a couple times. I do think about that a lot, especially as we continue to go into crisis mode in
Yeah.
the hospital. It's not the same kind of crisis, but I do think about it a lot. And this is following the 5 days at Memorial Hospital after Katrina, as the flood waters were continuing to rise, and just the insanity that occurred within this hospital. Part one is everything during. Um, those 5 days, and part two follows the aftermath of what happened, and it is it is an unbelievable book that is difficult to stomach. The choices that this one physician made were heinous, and difficult, and they're still practicing, and
Yeah.
it is a must read for everybody who can stomach it.
Yeah, I've got to get that
Yeah,
in
you would like
my
it.
library this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I have on my list a book called We Are Each Other's Harvest: Celebrating African American Farmers, Land, and
Oh.
Legacy by Natalie, I think you say her last name, Bazile. She's the author of Queen Sugar. So let me just read a little bit of the synopsis. So this
I love the
is,
cover.
it's beautiful. So it's an anthology of that brings together essays, poems, photographs, quotes, conversations, and first-person stories to examine Black people's connection to the American land from emancipation to today. In the 1920s, there were over 1 million Black farmers. Today, there are just 45,000. I don't know anything about Black farmers or anything like that. This book was so eye-opening and educational for me. The stuff I learned in here blew my hair back. It is the
Snatched her wig.
I'm serious. Like the things that these Black farmers go through to hold on to their land is astonishing.
Mm-hmm.
Like the bureaucracy, the blatant racism, and just like obtaining documents required to complete, to submit, to keep your land or to get funding, and the games they play. I mean, this book kind of makes you a little angry.
Farming in this country is a very, very, very
It
interesting and
is.
corrupt
It
little
is.
industry.
It was very heartbreaking and very sad to learn some of this history, but I think this
Mm-hmm.
is such an important book to read. So make it a point to read that this year. We Are Each Other's Harvest by Natalie Bazile. I hope I'm saying that right. Bazile.
This is so hard because now I'm like second guessing things. Um,
Well, you can just put whatever we don't mention on the show, we'll put it in the show notes.
yeah. Um, so I think I'm gonna not mention City of Thieves for the 97th time. Because you guys have heard enough from me about that book. And instead I want to where the frig are you? I know you're in here. Hello. I'm yelling at my Bookly app for it to feel like it's gonna answer. The Hidden Case of You in Forbes by Zoe Playden, which is a fantastic nonfiction about uh a Scottish, I can't remember what he is, but some sort of aristocracy. And he's the second son, born a female in the early part of the 1900s, who does transition. But when his brother dies and inheritance issues come up, um, this whole case gets brought into the courts, and whether or not he can inherit and whether or not he really is a man, and how do you define what a man is. And especially at the time in like the 40s, the laws against being a homosexual were incredibly brutal in the UK and other places. And this man, Ewan Forbes, he was a doctor. He had married a very nice lady. They had a lovely life together.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that becomes threatened uh, once this inheritance comes into question, because, their whole marriage would be null and void. They could have all kinds of other repercussions for being queer.
Yeah.
And it's just a very eye-opening look at trans history. And oh, there's so many parts that are just really difficult to read. It's just the things that people had done to them by medical people to prove or disprove whether they are or aren't the gender that they are telling us they are. Read it.
Yeah. That does sound
That's the hidden.
amazing.
It's really good. The Hidden Case of Uniforms, and I think that more people. And that came out this year too, so
Mm-hmm.
it's hopefully gonna pick up some steam. I do feel like sometimes the trans books just don't get as much attention as the like gay or lesbian books.
Oh, yeah.
Like in terms of popularity, like I feel like
I don't
this is just a
know.
thought. We can think about this more.
Well, I think
Um,
that, like, I didn't see that marketed very well by the
but it's
publisher.
also like a nonfiction book. It's Scribner. They don't market a ton. The only thing they really market, I think all their money went into Cloud Cuckoo Land.
Oh, right. See, he's
Yeah.
already known. You could have shared some of those dollars with some of the lesser
That was like
known.
I can't remember what it says, but it was like a crazy dollar amount. It's written in the arc I got. It's like a
Yeah.
$500,000
Well, because
marketing
they're probably
campaign or
leaning
something
on
like
that
that.
book to make up, all the financials for the year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, this book will pay all the salaries. So
And I really did enjoy Cloud Cuckoo
yeah,
Land, but it's definitely not a book for everybody. Like, it
yeah,
is a very specific person that's going to enjoy a long literary fiction with three different timelines and different characters and space and
right.
Constantinople and la la la. Like, it's a lot. There's a lot in there.
I will
So.
get to it at some
Not an
point this
easy
year.
sell. I
Yeah.
think All the Light We Cannot See was a much easier sell because it's World War II, and that is something that you have like a built-in audience for.
Okay.
You didn't like it? I
I
know.
liked it. No, it's not that I didn't like it. I just liked it fine enough. It
I'm
was
just saying
it
there's a
was
built-in
fine.
audience for World War II stuff.
There clearly is because they keep writing books about World War II. So there's clearly a built-in audience who was just like ready to just gobble it up.
Hmm.
All the Light We Cannot See was fine, but it did not blow my mind like these people are talking about. I was expecting to be blown away in some fashion.
I thought it was good. It was fine.
It was
It
fine.
made me enjoy the writer. I was
It
like, I
was
like
a
the story. I loved the daughter, the blind daughter in the house, her and her dad. I loved that whole relationship with all the little things that he made her, and
yes,
like, I thought that whole storyline was really interesting.
yes, it was.
It definitely didn't like rock my socks. So
So okay, let's see. My next book on the list is Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder.
I knew you picked
I
that one.
I really did enjoy this book. It is so feral and so raw, and I do like what it talks about surrounding motherhood and womanhood and marriage and the arts. And
I told you it made me want to go upstairs and like bite Jesus and then howl at the moon.
I mean, I want to run around my neighborhood naked in the middle of the night. I mean, I just, like I just wanted to strip it all off. So I don't know. I know a lot of people from the various reviews that I've read on Instagram that were like, I just could not get with this book, or I just thought it was
It's
just
weird,
too
but I like
weird.
weird.
But I don't think it was so weird. I mean, maybe a little weird, but
We like weird books though. So like we
that's
are the target audience
I guess
for
you're
it.
right.
So.
I guess you're right. But I thought it was a fantastic debut little novel.
Mhm.
So that's Night Bitch. Give it a try. I still
Yes.
need to acquire a copy for myself.
Yes, you do. I'm gonna pick My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshafe. I don't know how to say her name. I'm trying to read it off the spine. So I really liked this. It was set in New York. It's very like depressing. I don't know, intellectual lit. I liked it. There's this woman who is just basically depressed and doesn't have any real direction in life, and just she has enough money to essentially say, "Screw this shit. I'm just gonna take all these drugs and I'm going to stay in my apartment forever, and I'm just gonna like forget it, like forget life." And she ends
Wow.
up going on a succession of different medications. She finds this really quack therapist who just keeps prescribing things for her. And then leading up to a made up drug that just kind of really knocks her out. And it's really, I don't know, I just kind of felt it because I remember being in that sort of mid-20s part of your life and having that quarter life crisis and feeling stagnant and depressed and not wanting to go on, and not really not like in a I want to kill myself way, but
Yeah.
like just kind of like not knowing what like where like does anybody know what we're doing here? Like, is there any point to all of this? And being in that moment, and it's a really interesting look at psychology. It's set in New York, of course, which makes me like it. And she has this really annoying but tried and true friend who she treats very poorly throughout most of the book. But then as she starts to get up through this year, things butt up with 9/11, and it becomes a very different kind of story. And I think at its surface, it could be read sort of as a very privileged white girl moaning sort of thing. But I think there's some more stuff under the surface of just about mental health and relationships and friendships.
Oh,
And
interesting. Okay. I know that is a favorite of a
yeah,
lot of people. That a
yeah,
lot of people really like that book. I've
hmm
seen it around so much over the last couple of years.
yeah. So I really did enjoy that, and I actually enjoyed it so much that I went out and found myself a hard copy of it and spent too much money on it. But
Wonderful. Now you
it's an
have
older
it.
book, and now I have
Yeah.
it, and it sits up there on my shelves. I feel like it's for people who like Sally Rooney and other depressing books. You will like My Hair of Rest and Relaxation.
All right. Well, I don't know about Rooney because I've not read her yet, but okay.
You know I like sad books. It's fine.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mhm.
All right. Next up for me is Promise That You Will Sing About Me, The Power and Poetry of Kendrick Lamar by Miles Marshall Lewis. I don't know
Ooh.
about y'all, but I love me some hip hop. But I'm a
Mm.
hip hop snob and I like my hip hop good, which means I like a true lyricist, like a Kendrick Lamar. Don't give me that
Mhm.
mumble rap crap. Don't do it, guy. I will fight you in the comments. Don't you do it. I like a lyricist. And so this book was really beautiful. So in this book, Miles Marshall Lewis explores Kendrick Lamar's life, his roots, his music, his lyrics, and how he has shaped the musical landscape. I enjoyed this so much. Not only is it well written, but like it's some beautiful art in there, and it's kind of structured in a very artistic and creative way, not just straight words on words on words. It's really beautifully done, and I
Yeah.
enjoyed learning more about Kendrick's life and his roots. I I got into Kendrick Lamar when he was just doing mixtapes. So that's when I got into him. So Section 80. And I just enjoy him immensely. I think he is extremely talented. I can hear everything that he's saying. I understand the lyrics, and I think his production is at high quality value, high quality value, and I enjoy what he writes about.
Yeah.
So I thought this book was fantastic, and that is
Because his
"Promise That
lyrics
You Will
aren't.
Sing About Me: The Power and Poetry of Kendrick Lamar" by Miles Marshall Lewis.
I was saying that it's because Kendrick Lamar's lyrics are actually like lyrics and say something as opposed to just like rhyming words or trying to create some
Absolutely.
sort of persona or whatever. It's
Absolutely.
actually it has a point.
It has a point, it has meaning. It's
Value and merit. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, mumble rap.
That's what the kids call it.
I'm gonna pick. So I got like four more, right? So I'm just gonna knock passing off the list
Good. That's you and I. Good. We both got it on there. Okay.
because how could we have a list of our favorite reads and
Yeah.
not talk about passing? I don't think we need to talk any more about the book,
No,
but
we
if
don't.
for some reason all of our droning on about this
Mm-hmm.
hasn't made you read it, just go read it. Do
Yeah.
yourself the favor and read it.
Yeah. Please do. And go back and you can listen to our 3 episodes where we did the deep dive on the book passing for our passing reading project. So if you just go to our TBR Lowdown podcast page, you will see those episodes way, way down at the bottom. Check
You know
that
what?
out.
You know what I thought was interesting, since I just recently finished The Street, and I know they're about like 20 years apart in terms of Harlem or
Mm-hmm.
the city,
Mm-hmm.
but how different the settings feel
Oh,
between
yes.
those two books,
Yeah.
and how much more elevated life feels in passing, and how much harder it feels in
The street.
the street, and
Mm-hmm.
like how is that a function of just the choices of these two authors to frame their books like this, or is there really this like downturn that happens in those 20 years in circumstances
Well, I
in this
think
area?
because in passing, you're really talking about two well-to-do black women,
Yeah,
right? You
yeah.
know, one marries a white man who's quite wealthy, and the other one is married to a black man, but like he's a doctor. They're
He's a
doing
doctor. Yeah,
well.
yeah,
They're in the
yeah.
high societies of black society, and in the street,
Hmm.
we're Lucy. She's a
Lucy.
struggling married woman who's raising her son.
Yeah,
So like the disparities are there just in the differences in what
yeah.
they have economically.
Yeah, but I do wonder if there's also other things that happened to create an even bigger void, because it just doesn't feel like at any point, and maybe it's just because
I
um
I don't know.
I don't know either. Just
I think
I'm
that
wondering if it's the focus, or if there's also another piece that is something occurred between those time periods.
I mean we'll probably find out in our continuation of this project as we read
Yeah.
books that are set in between
Yeah.
those decades of passing and the street, which would be really interesting to see.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I did keep thinking about them,
Yeah.
about passing as I was reading the street.
Yeah.
So
So read both
read
those
the
books,
street.
folks. All right, my next one is My Brilliant Friend by Elena Ferrante. This is translated
I
from the
knew you'd
Italian.
have. I knew you'd have Elena Ferrante.
How could I not? I really want to finish this series. So this is a series. This is the Neapolitan series, and this is book one.
I hate the cover.
You do? I don't hate it. I don't love it either. I
It
don't
looks
know.
like a Laura Ashley advertisement from like
It's
1987.
it's the creepy little girls for me with those with those
I may have some PTSD from Laura Ashley from my mom, so that might be
yeah.
some other reason. I might be channeling something.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy that I finally got to read an Elena Ferrante book. So now I understand what all the hype is about. It's real. Her writing is beautiful. The story was really rich, and I really love the story of these two friends from childhood to adulthood. It was one of those friendships where like you kind of love hate each other. Maybe one of you is jealous of the other. Maybe one of you feels insecure around the other. It's one of those kind of friendships. And I just think that the way that she wrote it made everything just so vivid and so visual. And I'm excited to read the next three books in the series as well as her other books. I want to read her entire catalog.
Can't.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I really should have had coffee. I apologize for all the yawning.
You are fine.
I just
Also,
can't.
we don't even know who this person is. This is not. We don't know who Elena Ferrante is, folks. We don't
Was
know if
she
it's
even a woman?
we don't know if it's a man or a woman, black, white, Asian. We don't know.
So can I not put? Then I can't. Because I was gonna say I could do the lying life of adults, but if we don't know who they are, I can't do that.
They're
for 12
identifying
women.
as Elena.
But does that make them a woman?
It does right now until we find out otherwise. I mean, does it not?
I don't know.
Go ahead and put it in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I have the lying life of adults. I could do that. We could take a little trip to Italy for 12 women, 12 countries. If you don't know what we're talking about, we're doing a little year-long reading challenge. I need coffee.
She's talking about our brand new challenge for the year.
Thank
12
you.
women, 12 countries. Hashtag 12 women, 12 countries. And we're reading 12 books written by women from various countries around the world.
Naomi is going to dictate that I do not do anything with paint stripper before we do any more recordings.
This is not going to happen again, I promise. So anyway, follow that hashtag on Instagram and Twitter to join us. Yes, do that.
Yes. And if you need a book recommendation for 12 women, 12 countries, look at this segue. The Vegetarian by Han Kang. So I read 3 Han Kangs in the same month because I read The Vegetarian, and it was so beautifully weird. And sorry, did you hear that?
No.
Oh, a file finished transferring. Uh, and then I just had to get her other two books and read them. And I don't know if she has more than three out. I have to look, but
Hmm.
of the three, I was trying to pick one, and really, you could read any of them: the Vegetarian, Human Acts, and the White Book. But I think the Vegetarian's a really great place to start because it's like a little bit more grounded, I guess, as of a story, even though it's out there and weird.
Yeah.
But it's really about people things. It's not like esoteric or it's really good and it's so freaking weird. I just keep thinking about the one sister standing on her hands and saying how she's a tree and she's growing into the ground and it's just she's butt naked with her doing handstands in the middle of the woods. It's just
Wow.
it is a good book. It is a weird book and it is worth a read. So and it's short. So if you want to find something, 12 women, 12 countries.
There you go.
Vegetarian. Han Kang.
There you go. And my next one on the list can also be added to 12 Women, 12 Countries, and that is The Door by Magda Szabo, which I
I knew you
also
would pick
read,
that one.
yes, during Women in Translation Month. Just a phenomenal read. And so a busy young writer struggling to cope with domestic chores hires a housekeeper recommended by a friend. The housekeeper's reputation is one built on dependable efficiency, though she is something of an oddity. Stubborn, foul-mouthed, and with a flagrant disregard for her employer's opinions, she may even be crazy. I I just enjoyed so much this push and pull of the relationship between this housekeeper and this well-to-do writer and the wife of a somewhat important man. And also through this tension, they somehow built a fondness, a friendship, if you will, with one another. And I enjoyed the story, exploring the life of this housekeeper, all of her secrets, all of her oddities. And I think that everyone should read this book. I think it was very well done.
Read it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go nonfiction and then memoir, which I guess is also nonfiction, but that's how we're gonna go. Skip that. So sorry, I got distracted by the stupid file transfers that are happening on my computer. Pay attention, Alyssa. So Last Call, which I have talked about before, it is a nonfiction book about the last call killer that was murdering gay men in the 90s, I believe, late 90s, uh, early 90s in New York City. Anyway, it is incredibly powerful read. It's an interesting look at gay life in specifically gay men life in New York City at this particular time. A lot of the things that people would get away with in terms of uh, hurting or murdering different people just for being gay. I mean, it is a really interesting story that doesn't. I don't think that much has been written about these murders until this book.
Right.
So it's definitely something that I would like you all to read, and I've talked about it a couple times. So read the damn book. That is all. Read the damn book.
I love it. We're on our last ones, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
All right. So my last one is A Master of Zen by P. Jelly Clark. I have talked
Mm-hmm.
about this author and this series many times, but you all need to just read it. So A Master of Zen is the first full-length novel in this Dead Jen universe series. And I think that P. Jelly Clark does a phenomenal job at building a world. He does it so masterfully in these novellas,
Mm-hmm.
and having this full length novel just brings everything like to life in such a big way. But the fact that he could do it in these short novellas is really what hooked me to him. You know what I mean? Like even in
Mm-hmm.
that first ebook of like 43 pages, I was like, I can't believe what he did in 43 pages. But I mean, he really pulls it off. And I hope that this series continues for a little while. I hope that we get more full-length novels in this series.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely start off with the very first one and work your way up to A Master of Jen. It's worth it. I think it's very creative. I think it's very original. And the setting is just astounding. So that is A Master of Jen by P. Jelly Clark.
I always think you're saying pea jelly. Not just you. Everybody, when they say his name, I'm like, P. Jelly.
We hope we're saying his name right. God, I hope we're saying his name right.
Well, it's not P. Jelly. Any way you spell that P, it's weird.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So the last one on my list is going to be Crying in H Mart.
Hmm.
It's I thought this was a really really powerful little memoir about sort of the secrets we keep from each other and our families. The narrator is or the writer is talking about her mother who has passed from cancer, and there's a lot of reflecting back on their life together. And of course, whenever anybody passes, there seems to be stories that come out or secrets that get told, and it's just a really moving and wonderful, wonderful story that I think is worth a read and more people should read. And I'm also going to do a shameless plug here because it is the January pick for the Feminist Book Club, and
Mm-hmm.
I shall be getting a box shortly. So I will be giving away that copy that I get through the box, because I don't need two of them. So keep your eyes peeled. So there will be a giveaway for Crying in H Mart, and we can put a link for the Feminist Book Club too, in case you guys want to check it out. But they do
Yes.
a really great job.
What's your? Do you have rep codes
I
there?
have
How does
I
that
have a
work?
rep code. I have a link. I have an affiliate link which I can send you guys,
Okay.
and which I can send you guys, which I can send you,
We'll put
Naomi,
it in
and
the
you can put it in the
show
show
notes.
notes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there is I think it's Nurse 15 for 50% off anything you guys buy anywhere.
Very
So
nice.
on the shop, but they do a really great job. A percentage of the proceeds of every sale goes to a different, like, social justice kind of charity. People doing good works essentially. Um, so yeah, there will be a giveaway for Crying in H Mart at some point. So,
We love it. We love it. Yeah, that
yeah.
book did really well this year. Last year, didn't it? Crying at H Mart.
I think it hits things that we all experience. I mean, there's one thing we're pretty much all guaranteed to experience, and that's the loss of a parent.
Mm-hmm.
You're not guaranteed anymore to experience the loss of a child. That is a really difficult thing, and also something that a lot of authors explore. But I think it's a very equalizing thing, losing a parent, and
Right.
dealing with all of the thoughts you've had kind of growing up, and then I guess learning that maybe you didn't like certain things but you miss them. There's a lot of it's an emotional roller coaster losing your parent.
Yeah, it is. It is.
No
Wow.
matter the state of your relationship,
Relationship.
it is
Mm-hmm.
it
For
is it
sure.
is it is a trip. So it is one of those great equalizer topics. So I think it's good, and it does talk a lot about oh God, where is she from? Sorry, I don't want to say she's from a country she's not from, or you know what I mean. Japanese American, right? No. Oh, she's Korean American. I'm sorry, I'm wrong.
Okay.
It's Korean American, and so there's a lot of discussion about that experience. Plus, it's very it's a really good book. Just freaking read it. It's so good.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah,
I will get to it at some point this year as well. It was a book of the month pick at some point too, right?
I believe it
Yeah,
was.
yeah. So it's really gotten a big push.
That might be where I got my copy from.
I think it is.
My nonfiction books are downstairs, so I can't
Yeah,
peep it from here. So
I think it is.
yeah,
All right, well that's our list.
that's our list.
Shall we give folks our end of show one book
Book recommendation?
recommendation?
One book recommendation? Sure. You want me to go?
Yeah.
So I think this is going to be for a very specific reader, but I'm going to recommend it. It's called The Secrets We Kept by Laura Prescott, which is a book about a book. It is a book about, oh my God, my brain. It is a book about Boris Pasternak, the gentleman who wrote Dr. Zhivago. It is a
Mm-hmm.
book about him. It is a book about him writing that book and all the things that were going on around that book. There's a lot of political drama, and uh, it's a very interesting backstory to uh, how Boris Pasternak was perceived within Russia at the time, how the book got out of Russia and became the book that it is today. And it was just, I thought this was an incredibly interesting book. It's also really beautiful because, like, under the dust jacket, it's
Oh, that's
snowy.
gorgeous.
A little Dr. Zhivago-y, and it's just really, really good. And it's, I think, let me see if I can read a little bit of this for you. This is an electrifying literary page-turner that captures the passion and courage of three unforgettable women, Sally and Irina, two brilliant secretaries at the CIA's typing pool who become spies at the height of the Cold War, and whose ability to keep secrets catapults them into the world of danger, love, and international espionage, and Olga, Boris Pasternak's mistress and muse, who was sent to the Gulag for refusing to divulge the plot of his novel Dr. Zhivago to Soviet agents, and who remained his mistress until the day he died. The Secrets We Kept is based on the true story of the CIA's clandestine attempt to smuggle Pasternak's banned masterpiece behind the Iron Curtain, a mission grounded in the tantalizing belief that a work of art can pierce through the web of lies, and that a book has the power to change the world.
That was a Reese pick, right? Because I remember that book.
It might have been, yeah. Yes, it is. It was.
Mm-hmm. I remember that. Yeah, that got some really good buzz.
It's definitely, like, it's a really, really good book. It's not a book for everybody. I'm gonna say that. Like, I think you have to be the kind of person that really wants to, one, read historical fiction and really enjoys sort of the political intrigue of this time period. But it's really a wonderful book. And I don't see a lot of it anymore since it's not on Reese's Picks. So before things.
I know. My recommendation is this backless grimdark book, and it is book one of a trilogy, and it is Kings of Paradise by Richard Nell, and this is the Ash and Sand series trilogy. And I'll just read the back.
I remember you reading this.
I really loved it. So it says, two worlds destined to collide. A deformed genius plots revenge while struggling to survive. A wastrel prince comes of age and finds a power he never imagined. Ruka, called a demon at birth, is a genius. Born, malformed, and ugly into the snow-covered wasteland of the Ascom, he was spared from death by his mother's love. Now he is an outcast, consumed with hate for those who've wronged him. But to take his vengeance, he must first survive. Across a vast sea in a white sand island paradise of Shrikon, Kale is fourth and youngest son of the Sorcerer King. At 16, Kale is a disappointment. As the first prince ever forced to serve with low-born Marines, Kale must prove himself and become a man or else lose all chance of a worthy future and any hope to win the love of his life. Only one can be king. I really thought this was so good. I enjoyed it.
I feel like that's the one that got you into grimdark. You were like, this is what I like.
So when I decided I want to go down this grimdark lane, I had already heard about this, and I was pretty confident that I was going to like it. And I do a great deal.
And you were correct.
I was correct. I really loved reading about Ruka and his mother and this Kale guy across the sea. I love how they're beginning to collide. The ending was a trip. I just ordered the final 2 copies so I can finish the trilogy this year, but I really enjoyed this.
Ooh.
Kings of Paradise by Richard Nell. Those are our recommendations for you. So we're both tired, guys, and we're
very, very, very tired.
We're gonna wrap this up, but check our website, TBRLowdown.com, for all of our reading plans that we have going on for this year. We did a mini episode kind of breaking down all of our reading plans for the year that you all can participate in. Hashtag read with TBR Lowdown. So check that out. Remember, everything is always on our website, tbrlowdown.com. Don't forget that anything you want to know, anything you want to review, it's there for you. So, until next time, we are out of here. Bye! Bye!